we're going to get right into this. Now, every woman wants to get married. And some of them get lucky and find a good man that wants to marry them. Jeezy married Jenny, and as he married her, they was in a relationship for a while and married for 2 years. Now, in life, we tend to get into relationships and commit to relationships before we know our partner. And people don't understand that. We have kids, commit to relationships before we know our partners. So when you're with a person and you're going off your emotion, that's the reason you're in a relationship, because you have this emotional attachment to a person. You really don't know a person. So you start making decisions off of your emotions. And as you might be with a person for a while, you might see that you really don't like this person as much as you thought you did. Some relationships stay together because of different reasons. Kids, they don't want to start over. But they really might not be into each other the way that they thought they were. Now, in this situation here, Jeezy filed for a divorce. Being as though that he filed for a divorce, it was something that was very, very wrong in his eyes that he couldn't handle no more. Something. Maybe she did something that he couldn't handle. But for a man that took the vows and only did it for 2 years, it was something that was that deep to create the separation. And he was wise enough to file for joint custody. And they were only married for 2 years. And if you look it up, 35 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 60% of second marriages tend to work out. Now, not everybody is happy in a marriage. Some marriages you see, they're putting on an act to others to make it seem like they're happy, but they're not really happy. They don't want to start over with a new partner. They don't want it to be where as though they got to go out here and find love again. They don't want that. So in that sense, they don't want to be out here looking for love when they feel they already found it. But in all actuality, they really don't have that love in the household. This is an image that they put on the others, making others look at their situation as in something that they would want. But you really don't know what's going on inside people's household. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if they're uncomfortable with each other and they don't really like each other. A lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. A lot of people rush to get married. Do you know if the partner that you plan on marrying is really for you? How long does it take for you to know if this person is the person that you should marry? I really need to know that. How long does it take for you to know that this is the person for you to marry? Because a lot of people get married and then celebrate the divorce. What is the purpose of getting married if you're going to celebrate the divorce? What's the purpose of getting married if you're only married for a short period of time and you get divorced? Is it to show others that you got married? And a lot of men that get married really are unhappy through the marriage. Men might get married because the woman wants to get married. And then as they're married, they're really unhappy. But they're in a situation and they want to make the woman happy, but they're unhappy through the situation. Not every woman knows how to make a man happy. Maybe every woman wants to know how to make a man happy, but not every woman knows how to make a man happy. A lot of women don't want to cook, don't clean, don't know how to make their man feel good, act submissive, do certain things because they feel that because they go to work that they have to have the same treatment as the man. If your man isn't happy at home, how is he going to want to treat you good? How can he have the urge to do things for you to make you happy? So a woman has to understand what makes their man happy. And a lot of women get married and don't know what makes your man happy. But you expect the man to make you happy. For him to go out and file for divorce, he was unhappy in a certain sense. And that's a fact. For him to go out and file for a divorce, he was unhappy in a certain sense. And that's no ifs, ands, or buts. Because if he was happy, they would still be together. This wouldn't be all around as they're getting a divorce. So in life, as a woman, you got to know what makes your man happy. It's not just what makes you happy. The divorce rate is very, very high. And women want to be married, and you might find a good guy that takes to you and wants to marry you. But then after you're married, you stop the things that might excite the man. You get around certain friends and allow certain other people to dictate how you should handle your relationship. And you should never do that. You should never get around your friends and let them dictate how you should handle your relationship. That's real. If you got somebody that treats you good and respects you, appreciate that. And we as people, when we get certain things, we tend to devalue that to ourselves. Instead of putting that value on it as in, this is like gold to me, we say, we reached this already. And I think personally, after a woman gets a man to marry them, they feel like they conquered the man. They tend to stop doing certain things. Then they want to ration the coochie to a man. Oh, you can't have none now. Why would a woman get married and then tell a man he's limited to the sex with her? Why would a woman do that? and expect the man to still deliver in the same sense. That's backwards. If you got a good man that's supportive of you, you should support him in any way. And you shouldn't rush into marriage. I think you should be together at least 5 to 10 years so that you can know the partner before you commit to marriage. You should be your partner's friend first so that you can know when something's not right from the jump. But if you rush and say, I want to get married before you have that foundation of friendship, you're going to head for disaster. The relationship isn't going to hold up with strength because you rush for something to show an image to others. To show others that you got married, you made it to marriage. And then celebrate in divorce. It's not even about love at this point. It's about, I got married. If 35 to 50% of first marriages end up in divorce, that's half the marriages. Half the people in the United States that get married end up in divorce. So why rush and do that? Why not know the partner? And then you get married and have children before you know yourself as well as you know your partner. Because we are learning and growing daily. So if we're learning and growing daily, you're learning more about yourself, you're learning more about your partner. What is the rush to get married and then end up in divorce? You got to be able to find yourself and know your partner so that you can deliver how your partner needs to be delivered to. Not just say, okay, I got married, and then your household is miserable. Your partner's constantly cheating on you. Your partner doesn't want to be around you. Your partner doesn't want to give you sex. All these things come in play when you rush to get married. And from what I see, most people in marriages are unhappy because they rush to do it. You go through financial issues, and the person that's there with you is your husband or your wife. So when you're going through these financial issues, the only person that you can take it out on is your husband or your wife. Whatever issues you're going through, you taking it out on your husband or wife. So I really think that you need to be financially stable, know yourself before you get married or have kids. If you don't, it's going to be an off balance. There's no balance there. But people don't see it like that. You think you got to rush and get married and then figure everything else along the way. And I think that's what makes it hard for a lot of relationships. When you rush and get married and you don't have that balance already where you know your partner, know the lines not to cross with your partner, know what makes your partner feel some type of way. Know these things. And sometimes you might feel you know these things, but it takes a little more time because things will change. Things will not always be the same. You got to understand that it's always going to be changing us as humans. So we might feel some way one time and then another time we feel another way. So we shouldn't rush as fast to make that decision. And then when you got a child that comes involved, now you got custody and those type of things are coming about. I really think we rush for children and marriage before we know ourselves, because we're taught to have kids and get married quick. We do this too quick. We don't know if this is what we really want. Your partner could have certain friends that they don't want to let go and that they deal with on a regular that you disagree with, and they might be a little closer than you agree, and it could be a lot of different things that you don't understand about your partner, but you feel that by getting married, these things will be solved. And I think that's where we run into a problem at. You got to know your partner fully before you get married. And Jeezy has been with his partner, his wife, for a few years, been married for 2 years, and something has came about that he just couldn't take. If he says there's no reconciliation for this situation, then there's something that's that severe that he couldn't deal with. There's something that is up here somewhere above his head that he doesn't want to deal with. And that comes from, you got to know your partner before you take it there. But people think you get married first and then figure out your partner. So who is the marriage for? Is it for the man, or is it for the woman, or is it for both? Who is it for? Because if you're doing it for a woman and you don't really know the woman, and you don't really know if this is the woman that you plan to be with for the stretch of life, why do it? If it's for a man and you don't know if this is the man you're going to be with for the stretch of your life, why do it? Why do it and then celebrate divorce? It's commonly done now. To celebrate divorce is common. They have divorce parties now. They spend all this money for a wedding and then spend money for a divorce party. So the thing that excited you the most to get married, now you got to get excited to separate. Why do it? I don't understand it. What's the purpose? Because this is what we were taught. We were taught that you got to be married. Why not teach us to get to know the other person before you take it there? Why is that not being taught? Why is that not being stressed to make sure that you have a firm connection with your partner before you go to marriage? And then if you're a public figure, everybody's going to be chiming in on your divorce. Everybody's going to be chiming in on your marriage. So if you take it there, you should make sure this is what you want. And a lot of times people make decisions off of what other people think that's right for them in that situation. If somebody else is giving you advice saying, yeah, you should get married, I think you should do it. And then you say, yeah, this is the one for me. I believe this is the one for me. I really like her. I love her. This is the one. Or I really like him and love him. This is the one. And you make that decision, and then you turn around and separate. There's no strength in that situation if you do not fully know the other half. You're dealing with this person and you really don't understand this person. So in a lot of households, they're miserable. A lot of marriages are miserable. Wives don't come home sometime. Husbands don't come home sometime. But they'll go in the public and say they're married. Is that just an image that people want to portray to others? They got married? Or is it something serious? Because the percentage of divorces lets it be known that marriage isn't as serious as it's presented. If half of the marriages are ending up in divorce, then it's not as serious as it's presented. It's an emotional high for people that feel that they need to be married. Because after the high goes down and you reach that goal, what's next? And then you turn to divorce. Now you're at each other's throat. Now you're trying to drag each other down. The person that you said you loved and you showed everybody you loved and you went down the aisle together and you presented this image to everybody together. Now you're at each other's throat trying to destroy each other. This is the base of a marriage ending up in divorce. You want to destroy the other person. Your feelings are so hurt, you want to hurt the other person. Why is it that? It's designed that way. Because people get married off of feeling. Say, I feel this way, but not certainty. You need to be certain that this is what I want to do. And then some people are not certain, but hold on to the marriage because they have children with the other person. And you live in your short life in misery because you have children with the other person. It's the same scenario. But I guess people don't get it. And I'm glad he had a prenup. So she's not going to hammer him as hard, but she's definitely going to want support. So now it's going to go to a whole nother level of a bill for him. Because his paper's up there. So she's going to want a whole nother level of support. But people don't look at that before they get married. Or they do, but they override it with their emotional feeling. Their emotional feeling overrides the fact that you know you will be financially hit if you get married and you have children. Your emotional state overrides that. And then at the divorce, now your emotional state comes back to you in that state because you got to feel that pain. Why are you doing this to me? And it's the same scenario. Because believe, she's going to want blood. She's not going to say, I don't want no support. She wants the max. She wants the max support. She wants to make sure that she's digging into his pocket. But people will find themselves ignoring that when they have kids and rush into marriage, knowing that this is what's going to happen. You're going to be in court deciding how much money you're going to have to pay. And it's normal, and people just don't pay attention to it. Continue to put yourself in that situation where as though you don't look at it like, make sure you love this person and you plan to be with this person before you put it all the way to that level. Make sure that this person here is the person that you really plan on being with before you say, I'm going to get married. Know that you adore this person. And that's what people don't do. When you take it to the marriage level, you should adore your person. You should adore your person. Every part of their body should excite you. Because if certain things you don't like about that person, it's going to turn you off. And you might deal with the things for a little while, but you're going to stray either in infidelity, or you're not going to give that attention that you should give. But this is not paid attention to. It's just said, let's rush and get married. Let us get married so we can say that we're married. Do you really adore the person that you marry? Because from what I see, if 35 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce, that's saying that half of the people that get married don't adore each other. That's saying half of the people that get married do not adore each other. But they get married because they are in an emotional state where they feel they need to be married. They don't know the partner. They don't have that next level connection, but they want to get married. Because this is the norm of life. You need to be married. I think that if more people would make sure that they adored their partner before they took it to that level and knew themselves, knew their partner, that marriages would last longer. Marriages would have a stronger value. They don't have the strong value because people don't have the connection that they say they have when they take it to that level. Now, in his situation, he's going to have another view on marriage once he has a divorce. Some people already see it because they've seen multiple people go through this and they have a different vision for it. But some people feel that they want to try it out because maybe it won't happen to them. But from what I see, the divorce level is so high. Why would you rush into that? And you know that you are going to get financially pressed behind it Why would you rush for that? It doesn't make any sense to that. Are you getting married because you want to make her happy? Or you want to get married because you want to make yourself happy? Why are you getting married if you do not have that permanent connection where you know this is where I want to be? This is what I want. Your feelings can change. You might not always feel the same way in life. So you have to make sure that this is the stop that I need to be at. Life is short. You put yourself in a long situation and you don't feel comfortable or you're miserable, you wasted some years of your life. So you got to really know that the person that you marry is the person for you, and you know that you adore this person. You find this person precious, loving, and nothing else comes above this vision for this person. And it has to go on both ends. It has to be, one person has to be submissive in a marriage. There can't be two head honchos in a marriage. One person has to be submissive to balance the other person. It could be the man, it could be the woman, but one person has to be submissive to balance it. And if you get a good person that understands you and y'all understand each other, it might can work. But for the ratio being 35 to 50% ending in divorces, and this is from the records that they keep of the marriage. Every marriage is kept on record. So if they have a record of it and they're saying 35 to 50% ends in divorces, this is facts. That means half of the people that get married really don't know their other partner. They're just doing it off of the emotional state that they were in to get to that point. I hope Jeezy makes out in this situation and that he doesn't have to pay a hefty bill, and he makes it reasonable for himself, however it goes. But don't rush into marriages until you really know your partner. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back now.